Yeah. Okay, page 7. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes into 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp. An illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble. A dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, To tip of this fresh, pure white heap, curd like cloud, O Lo Sang Dragpa, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable gurus smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear, and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light, perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted 3 vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned 8 mundane concerns, made life essence full. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make Venerable O Sangdrapa's essential teaching specially shine forever. Migmate se we ter chen resig, dream a ken pei wang po jum pel yang, du pung ma lu jom ze sung wei dag, gang chen ke pei tsu gen song kappa, lo sang drak te javla so adeb. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There's no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the hosts of the three places Dakinis, Akasamara Sharara Samariya Fade. Tayata, Om, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four Maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, Shanti Kuriye Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse, harmful conditions. May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness. Bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji perki jukshing me to tramri rabling ji yi degyen padi sangye jingdu nikte owan gidro kunamdag jingla chirpasho jetsum nama dampakyenam kichurkuikala kiense trindrigne jitar sampe dulje zimma lahazab yecherki char pavam tu so idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami Churdang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chernyengi Pesonam Ki Drola Pinchu Sangi Druparshu Churdang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chernyengi Pesonam Ki Drola Pinchu Sangi Druparshu Churdang Soki Chognam La Jangcho Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chernyengi Pesonam Ki Drola Pinchir Sangye Drupasho
Good. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Can you give one the prayer book for ordination? Give me one. Okay. Today I'm not using my working English. Okay. We go directly with the translation. I think you have some questions. After we finish, we do question and answer, okay? Today, I just to explain for daily practice. How many people have something daily practice every day? You have everyone something, right? Mark, do you have something to pray?
I meditate. I don't have a full practice.
Okay. Bob, you have read? Oh, yeah. Okay, my English finish. 다 간제 가디나 가서 남부 추 제와이나 제외 qabla 소소고 추 배자 로바 옛날에 곰자바 옛날에 간지 옛날 담보 끊어 야고 주고 그랬어.
So whenever we practice the Dharma, whether it be reading or praying, or reading texts or praying or meditating, we need to have a good motivation.
그래서 남바지 산제비 추대 태화 친부 추단 로도 문로서 끊어라라고 그랬어.
And whether our practice of Dharma, whether it becomes a Mahayana practice or not, depends on the motivation.
아니 다가 나신 게 제వ 친부의 추로 문로서 끊어라라고 그랬어.
And likewise, whether it is a practice of the great vehicle,
제వ 친부.
middle great capacity being, also depends on, you know how in the long run there's a small capacity, middle capacity, and great capacity. So whether it's the practice of a great capacity being also depends on motivation.
다 쇼게 가도 다 니마치랑 다 가도 제당란지 그나 제워로치 디바로치 때문에 이제가 돼서 그리고 저 야보체 동에서는 아니 링아 되지 대마전에 통화 되지 제당 먼저 니라고 지금 가도 시작이 있어.
당분간에
냠내 제당 니라고.
So there, in terms of now,
디보니라고.
so in terms of practice, we can kind of talk about it in two ways, whether it be very extensive practice or kind of a more shortened, abbreviated form of practice.
다 쇼겐 지나서 뒤서이나 쇼게 야랑한테 말라 소무치 당고 그래서 미야 세원 세바다 소무치 당고 그래서 쇼게야 세바다 아니 소소 소무치 당고 그래서 나들이 심해와 예산나 야랑아요와 가타야요와 가와 소무치 삼고 그래서.
Okay, so as soon as we wake up in the morning, we should, as soon as we open our eyes, or as soon as we even realize that we're awake, then we should be grateful, and we should think that we're very fortunate, that I'm very fortunate to be alive today, to have this opportunity to practice.
그리고 근데 이제 아니 가시기 전에 쇼겐데 로야 빠기도 왔어. 로 빠리고 가려야 로고 고대야 소소고 대화 요소가 라마당 산제당 건조라야 피게베 그런 거 거기서
The prigins and so for example, from the moment that you wake up in the morning, and if you were to turn on the light because it's still dark, for example, then you can think that, and you can offer that offering of light, of turning on that light to the objects of your offering, of objects towards whom you have faith, such as the three jewels, towards one's teachers, lamas, and so forth.
아니 미카지 요게 야랑와다 미야 세바데야 조조지나 곰자데 근데 요레스 냐메치 가지야 야랑아지 사전난로 아니 차당 다 카라도 주 아니 양차피 아니 신이 냐메치 제나마라니 요레스.
So there are different types of, people who practice in different ways. There are some who, as soon as they wake up, they might sit in that meditation posture and engage in meditation right away. There are some who might wake up and then go about first preparatory, like first going to wash up, brush your teeth, wash your face, offer water bowl offerings and so forth before they sit down and engage in their meditation practice.
근데 쇼나도 아니 소소가 칼라차다 주지 아니 다나 연라되게 냠는다는 데에 돈에 아니 가도 좋았대 피 아니 소소까지 피하나 연차 피하나 피면나 개 말에 부바이나 부바 가서 매와이나야 단들이 빠요 단들이 피요냐면 그런 거네야 아니 소소야 도도지네야 소소 담아지 아니 냠는 것은 대야가 요래서
담보가리 수입에
아니 칼라도 주
칼라서 주리네
칼라도 아니 태용 소소를 저 피요나 연차 피 부바 가서 들이 매와이나야 다 소소 내사 지 조간으로 보내 팀분들은 되네 다도 이 피요 삼배지 그런 거 그네 되나 야가 요래서.
So for example, after you wake up, after you get up, after you brush your teeth and wash your face and kind of get ready for the morning, if you have water bowl offerings or if you have an altar that you can make offerings to, and then you'd be good to make offerings, water bowl offerings, make offering of incense and so forth. And even if you were not to have that set up for yourself, just to even imagine that you're doing so, or that you have done so mentally, would be good to do.
아니 디가래는 쇼게 야라는 소소지 끊어라고도 cấp 이지미지 대한 제고 그랬어. 이지미 그러나 당한테 요소도 소소 삼아지 이지미지 된 제고 때 따고 그랬어.
And then also if you have any holy images of the three jewels of the Buddhas or your teachers and so forth, objects of refuge, objects of respect and offering, then it's important that you in Tibetan. So it's important that you greet them or that you acknowledge them, their presence, as if they were really there.
나만도 딱게라 게츠가 쇼케 타바 야랑이야 부타 쇼케 야랑게 코랑이야 아니 그 따투게도 투야니 야페 아니 양차피 아니 부파 아니 부른도 전에 그래 늘어가네 야 제지 물음잡 야 봐줘라 부파 야 제도 시작을 인지미지 안돌아 나그래서 인지미지 가디나 안돼요 나 신경 삼아요 말에 그래 이제 거로서 그래서 내가 이사래서.
So for example, our teacher Geshe Tsulga, when he was with us, what he would always do is first he would get up and then he would, brush his teeth, wash his face, get dressed and everything, and afterwards make his offerings. And when he went to make his offerings, then he would absolutely each time, after laying out his water bowl offerings, he would light a stick of incense, and then he would go to each holy image, whether it be just a mere photo or whether it be a tanka or a statue. He'd go to every single each image and make an offering to them, and directly, as if they were actually there in person, as if you were actually going there to meet that being in person. Yeah, and then he would sometimes, if there was a specific mantra associated with that holy image, then he would say it. But he would go and greet each one of them and make an offering as if they were actually there. And he said that it's very important to do so. And then in that way, then you yourself would gain a lot of merit.
Okay. And
hold on a second, I forgot one thing. And not just, and Geshe-la also said, and not just pretend like, oh, I know it's there, to get used to it or to become familiar, or what's the word, to take it for granted, thank you. To like have that attitude of, oh, I know it's there, and to take it for granted, yeah.
Okay.
So after you have made all the offerings, then you can make 3 prostrations to the objects of offering. So when you make, I can't do it as well as you do with me. Yeah, you guys know how to practice when you make the prostrations, that you should have the thumbs kind of tucked inside, and then not have it flat like that, but have a little bit of space in between with the thumbs tucked inside like this. And then that is the image, it symbolizes as if you're holding a jewel, like a precious jewel. And then to make sure that it's not empty, that's why you tuck your thumbs inside. And then first you place your palms together in that manner on the crown of your head. And then by doing that, then what you are creating the imprint for, or creating the cause for, is to be able to have the Buddha's the protrusion of the what is Ugnisha, thank you. Ugnisha of the Buddhas, in the future when you become a Buddha yourself. 때는 말에 때는 단다디에 막 저렇게
다 같이 샹이 같이 딱 샤 용도 와서 샹이 뭐자 언니 그래서 같이 샹이 샤한테 샤나 아니 사지 그 제포된 데벽이 맞아 샤 요래서
상객이
그 제포된 지요 제포 대 샹이 뭐자 뭐 그래서 같이 샤를 같이 샤가 말해 같이 샹이도 대삼 담 그래서
오케이
고반도 어때 그 제포.
Okay, so anyway, slight discussion. So there are two types. Some people might then next place their hands at the middle of the forehead, right? So there are different ways of doing it and different ways of thinking. And for some who do put their hands next on the middle of the forehead, they might, by doing that, they will then create the imprint and the cause to achieve the hair that is between the midbrow. I don't know the technical terms here in English, but do you see in the Buddhist statue there is
there's something here, some jewel.
Yeah. So that actually represents a long piece of long hair that coils to the right, is it?
Yeah.
It is a very, very long hair that coils, and then once you pull it back, then it goes right back into space. So there's a special hair there, so to create the imprint the cause for that. 근데 가신디 nga jagen
nga ina de shagdo was
yeshigi chen.
이식 신의 이 이식 신의 이식 신대야기 바자 shagyo shagres.
And so then another, some other practitioners might also, if you are a practitioner of Tantra, for example, then one might also put one's hand together at that place, symbolizing the wisdom eye.
아니 니 무슨 말인지 shagres.
And then next you would,
아니 상지가 손으로야기 배.
so next you would place the hands at the throat, and that represents, of course, the enlightened speech of all the Buddhas, and to create the cause and the imprints for that. And then the last place would be at the heart, and that represents the enlightened mind of all the Buddhas. And so,
okay. 아니 된다 마고도 나도 차사단이요. 장샤다 구샤니요레. 장샤지나 수부 차상 마살도요레. 라바니 비모니 아니 그래. 배고 간지다 수부 차상마 도요레서.
Okay, so then when you after you placed your hands in those positions, then you have two different options. One is called yang fully extended versus abbreviated, right? So the fully extended version is where you then go flat out with all your limbs extended. But what's important here is that you have 5 places of your body that must touch the floor for it to count as an official prostration, and that is your forehead or the crown, depending on how you placed your head, and the 2 palms of your hands and the 2 knees. Okay? So in the case of the fully extended prostration, since you're going all out with all your limbs, all those places will be touching.
아니 되게 배인도 책이래서 수보강 아니 수보 사자 가서 쳐와 가서 말은 님 도와이나 대 아니 사이드 장는 님 배수는 부족사 그래서.
And so between the two, the full extended form of prostration and then the abbreviated form, of course, the greater merit is created by the full extended form, because it is said that as much space that is covered by the contact of your body with the floor, but by the number of dirt particles, or however they say
atoms.
Huh?
Atoms
of dirt or whatever that is collected under your body, that's the number of merit that is the amount of merit that equivalent to that you'll be creating.
너무 별이야. 아니 라마지에 들어왔어. 라마데 배 무슨 구수 첨부에 들어왔어. 아니 라마데 라버스. 나 주부 첨부들이야. 배치 찌었어. 가이나 찬스로 그래 배도였어.
So in Tibet there is Lama, and then he I guess was a very big, physically very big person, and so he said there is one definite benefit for my having this, big physique, is that whenever I do my prostration, I can create a lot of merit.
Okay. 대안에 장상다다지. 다 구샤세데 아니 수보차가 마도 말스 비모니 고치도 라바. 너다 남이가도 세대들스.
So then the second version, the abbreviated version, is where you go down and you touch the 5 places, but you're on your knees, the way we normally do inside the gompa.
장선다는 Lama Zopa Rinpoche 망아체 장사다 그랬어.
But as you know, if you know, or you might see that Lama Zopa Rinpoche, most of the time, he will do the full extended prostration.
다야들이 차서도 매워이나 아니 다 소주고 삼랑기 링아에서 뭐 그거지는 되게 오래 가시요 비모다 갈래요 그때 이제미지 대체 차마다는 약혼 맞춰게 말했어.
So but for any reason, if you are not able to offer either of those forms of prostrations, then it's also sufficient to do the prostration by holding your hands at your heart respectfully, and then in your mind prostrating, thinking that you're prostrating with your body, speech, and mind, and so forth. And you can also create virtue by that. It's not absolutely necessary that if you're not physically able to, or for a reason are not able to, do either of those 2 types of prostrations, that you cannot offer any prostration at all.
Okay. 근데 다 들리기 샤데 아니 쇼케 숨 존나 군다 숨 니마치 샤 중세는 야보여레스 쇼케 야라니 진다 군다만 많이 오그레스.
And then to offer that kind of prostration, it would be good to do 3 times in the morning, at least, right? 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the evening or at night before you go to sleep, as soon as you wake up and then before you go to sleep.
Okay. 다 전화대 마음으로 다 디디는 되는 다 상지 주소만 고된다. 근데 그런 거 죽여래서.
And so then after you did prostrations, then you can sit down on your cushion, on your space, and then you can begin by reciting the
상지 주소만.
So refuge in bodhicitta.
And
so then the refuge in bodhicitta that verse will form your it's the verse of motivation, setting your motivation. And so in the first verse there, first two lines of that verse then constitute the refuge portion.
근데 산지 죽이는 사람이야. 아니 상처마다 상마제가 받아 잡수 저기 있어.
And then when you take refuge in the three jewels, in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, that you're taking refuge until you gain enlightenment yourself.
그리고 대등이 받으니까 아니 샘제식이 그래서.
And then the former two lines, lines 3 and 4, then constitute the generation of bodhicitta in your mind stream.
Okay. 아니 뒤가 소소고 좀 봤던 것 같은 좀 소소하고만 냠냠 이 제와대 아니 샘제들 산지 토비아 제기로.
And so then
소소 제와라 때는 샘제대 산지 고마 토벌 준다 되게 샘제대 샘제식으로 샘제.
And so then whatever practice you do of giving generosity and so forth, all of that you're performing it in order to benefit all beings, and in order to do that you yourself have to achieve enlightenment. So in order to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings, that you will engage in these practices, so that constitutes the awakening mind of the bodhicitta generating that in your
아니 대주들랑 한번 세메시대 그래. 세메시대 가르다 다 된다 도도로 보시나 수수 냠리 제외 고바드 제외 제외 이제 제외가 가르 된다로 보대. 가르치는 제외나 샘제대 동아다 다야겠다. 내와나 대야겠다. 얘나 저나 저 당연히 되게 체든 게 냠리 제외 인사마로 된다 도도로 오는 데레스.
The Guba alignment.
더 고반로 자 냠리 제외 고반로. 고바.
Okay, so then so after that you have the 4 lines of the 4 immeasurables, and in short what those 4 lines or the 4 immeasurables shows is the reason or the need or the reason for engaging in these practices, so that all sentient beings can have happiness that they wish, that they can be separated from the suffering they do not desire, that they're never parted from the sorrowless bliss of joy, immeasurable joy, and that they can abide in equanimity and so forth.
아니 된대. 오케이.
Hello.
Yeah.
In the seven-line prayer, the first word is prostrations and then offerings. But didn't you say that offerings first and then prostrations?
잠깐 나지지도 많아 요나 되게 야만은 초와 차선 피네 아니 야 잡는 되게 그래.
So either way is fine. If you wanted to do, in the context of 7 prayer, then you can also first do prostrations and the offerings, or in practice when you first make the offerings and then the prostrate. That's either way is either. Yeah.
사벨린 브라더나 팅 데마 좀 디칼이야 샤운자와 초와샤바 지사도 제비가라 대나지 액션 전에야 보여도 제도나 샤운자가 샤운자 초와비고는 초와비 샤베가라 이자로 내데 제요레서 나지 제와 있나 가근 데마 좀 많이 받지 샤운자가 야 샤운자 초와비고는 초와 샤베가라 야지 톱시단 되고 샤바체데 제요레서 다도 데 지고자는 것도 왔어.
Yeah. So for example, even when you are doing the 7 limb prayers, if you wanted to do it extensively, you can at each limb of prostration, you can actually get up and prostrate. You can on the verse of offering, you can get up and make offerings, you can rejoice, or if you can extensively put into practice the 7 limb prayer, not just merely say the words, but actually put it into action, combine it with the physical.
단아데 티칸 지지하셨다나 산지 춘조면 만되면 내달래야 수준들래야 수준 자외 라마가 주베 다 가는 거 산지다 산지다 맞춰서 수준들래요 삶을 그렇게 그래서 산지 추석 만되면 내달래.
And so he said he forgot to mention that before you recite the verse of refuge and bodhicitta, as soon as you sit down, that you should first visualize, or at least think in your mind, that the objects of refuge, the objects of offering, that the mirror field is in front of you, starting with the Buddha, your lamas, all the various teachers of the lineage, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and gods and so forth, yeah? Such as you might see in the merit.
다들 마음을 다 찾아만 나가면 다 되는 대치다 왔지. 다대 대인지미 대 춘조지면 더 된도 마도면 더 왔어. 나가는 돼야 돼. 산지 추도 받은 세메신 돼 마도 왔게면 더 왔어. 유념하시.
So not to get too extensive right now, what Geshe-la mentioned about reciting the refuge and bodhicitta verse and the 4 immeasurables, it's not that much, right?
And then 마저 쇼나 정하는 까마르라 마메다세 반데본데 대세마 주요 말인데 너도 그래서 쇼로가 지금 주요 말했어.
And then if you go to then page 15,
까마르라 마메다 제마서 봐. 너지 좀 네가 저마다 왔다 공부 그랬어.
Okay, so then there's the verse, a star, mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. So this verse, which is from Sutra, speech of the Buddha himself, is also very short. And and then if you then reflect on the meaning of this verse, then it becomes a meditation on impermanence. These are different aspects of impermanence.
Okay,
And there's only, I mean, it's a short verse, right? Not much. Right, so just a short verse there, but you know, it's an opportunity to meditate on death and impermanence. And then after that, then the Guru Yoga Jesungkapa. If you have the time and are able to, then recite that prayer. And then if you don't have the time to be able to actually recite all the verses of the group prayer of just Guru Yoga Jesungkapa, then you can go to page 21 where it says, "O glorious and precious Guru, pray take still the Lord's on my crown," and so forth. So those verses, what that those three verses, what that represents is that you are thinking of your root teacher, your root guru, and the Lama Tsongkhapa as inseparable, as one entity of one nature, and then that you are making prayers and that you are, what's the word? Help me here. Supplication. Supplication.
And that should not touch some
Karegi. The thing and the shulka really sum Okay, so if you have the time and are able to, then you can recite each verse 3 times, right? So the first verse the O glorious and precious Guru, all the way down to bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. Recite that 3 times, and then move down to the next verse, recite that 3 times, and then the next verse 3 times. If you don't have the time, then you can just recite each of those verses once. And each time as you're reciting that, you should really, really try to think and reflect on the meaning of the verse, of the words of the verse. And then after that, then you have actually in this prayer, you have the on page 19, the Miksema, the 5-line verse that you have there. That is the praise of Lama Tsongkhapa. And so then that verse basically it shows that Lama Tsongkhapa is also has the how do you say that? And Jesungkapa generally say in like Okay, so how you know how it says Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of unconceived compassion. So Chenrezig or Avalokiteshvara is the compassion of all Buddhas manifesting in a form is Avalokiteshvara, right? In the same way, the wisdom, knowledge of all Buddhas manifesting in a form is Manjushri, and the power of all Buddhas manifesting in a form is Vajrapani, right? So in this verse, you think that the essence of that Lama Tsongkhapa is the essence of all the Buddha's compassion, therefore Avalokiteshvara, essence of all the Buddha's wisdom knowledge, therefore Manjushri, and essence of all Buddha's power and might, and therefore Vajrapani, that he is all 3 in essence, in nature, and that Lama Tsongkhapa is inseparable from your own root guru, that they are of one taste, of one essence. And then after you finish these verses and reflections and so forth, then if you have other practice, daily mantras or daily prayers, daily sadhanas that you normally have commitments to do or that you do on your own, then you can go ahead and engage in those afterwards. And then if you have the time and are able to, it would also be good to recite the Heart Sutra. And if you don't have the time to be able to recite the entire Heart Sutra, then you can at the very least recite the mantra of the Heart Sutra. And by thinking about the meaning of the Heart Sutra, then you can also try to engage in meditation on emptiness to whatever your understanding allows. After all that, then you can recite the dedication praises. Dedication is on page. Right, so for example, on page 57, 59, through this verse may I swiftly, and then also precious supreme Buddha mind may it arise. So you can recite the verses of dedication and then go to work, have breakfast, go about the rest of your day. Become used to. Habit. So if you are able to, for example, do this without break every single day for a month, then you will become accustomed. You'll get used to it. So it becomes much easier to do as well. So if you're of the, of a practitioner who doesn't necessarily get up and make the offerings and so forth, or as soon as you wake up you want to do your practice or meditation, then you can, on your bed, sit in your meditation position and engage in these prayers, engage in these meditation and recitation of the prayers. And so then, for example, you should then meditate, reflect on refuge and bodhicitta, the four immeasurables, death and impermanence and emptiness. And so then you can, in the morning before you begin your day, practice like that. And you should also have the thought that, have the motivation that even if you cannot benefit, at the very least you will not harm others that day. You'll try your best to benefit others. If not, at the very least not harm others. And then afterwards, after you come back, after a full day's work, before you go to sleep, if you can spare at least 5 minutes, then it would be good to then recite the 100-syllable mantra, the purification verses. And then if you cannot recite the entire 100-syllable long version, then at the very least, then you can do the abbreviated Om Besasato version. And then you can, in conjunction with the four opponent powers, you can thereby then purify whatever negativities. And then there is no negativity, no negative karma that cannot be purified by the practice of the four opponent powers. Okay, so then among the four, then the first one that Geshe-la is presenting is the power of regret. Okay, Okay, so first you need to have generated regret in your mind about the action, about the negativity that you created, right? So then first you should say, oh, that was bad, I shouldn't have done that, or have some kind of regret about it. And then from there, then that will lead you to, and then take refuge, go for refuge. And so then the power of of reliance, right? The power of reliance would then be going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. So then you can say that the external power of reliance would be, let's say, the external objects of refuge, such as the holy images of Buddhas and so forth, but actually the real power of reliance is the object that you rely on is the mind of bodhicitta, mind of refuge, the virtuous minds within your own mind stream. Okay, so the next, the power of antidote. And so first you have the power of regret, where you regret your actions, generate regret in your mind, and then that leads you to take refuge, the power of reliance, right? And then the actual power of antidote that then purifies, the act of purifying or cleaning away, you can recite the 100-syllable mantra or Omani Peme Hung or so the shortened version, Om Beza Sato, or the 100-syllable mantra. And then also the general confession, the prayer of confession and so forth, right? So whatever one is able to do or has the time to do, you can engage in any of those types of And then after that, then you need to make a promise, a firm resolve not to repeat these negative actions again. So that's the power of resolve. And then you can also then rejoice in whatever merit that you have created, whatever positive actions that you have accumulated, and then prostrate 3 times and then go to sleep in a happy state of mind. Okay. And then if also at the time before you go to sleep, if you carry the motivation, bring back the motivation of refuge and bodhicitta, and also reflect on meaning of emptiness, then the entire time that you spend sleeping will also become virtuous karma. And also if you fall asleep while reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, then also the whatever time is spent while you're sleeping will also become virtue or merit. Okay. And so that is a very kind of abbreviated, short, convenient form of a day's practice. And then if you, in addition to that, have many other types of commitment prayers and practices to do, then you can insert that along the way. But this is a very kind of a short, condensed, abbreviated form of a daily practice. And then also if you were to just then not engage in all the various activities like that, like Geshe just discussed, then you can also just before going to sleep then think about refuge and bodhicitta and emptiness, and you can meditate on those like refuge and bodhicitta and emptiness, and then go to sleep. And then go to sleep. Okay. So that's if you were to do daily practice in a very short, condensed, time efficient way of practicing, or of setting up a daily practice, it would be something like that. And even if you were not able to do all these different aspects of the daily practice, the most important thing is to have maintain a good, kind heart, good mind. And also to supplicate or to pray to the Green Tara. And if you have the time and are able, then you'd be good to recite the 21 praises Sutara. And if not, then there is a there is that one verse, a condensed, abbreviated prayer Sutara, which is just one verse with 4 lines. Or if not, then you can just say, the Tara's mantra, Om Tare Te Tare Tere Sowa.
Okay. 이제 드마데 가서 무조건라 틀레가라 뱀즈베 무릎 밀고 틀레 밀고레스.
Now, it's important to also then rely on Mother Tara, because she is the essence of enlightened activity of all the Buddhas, and so therefore is able to help us achieve whatever goals and whatever achievements that we are seeking.
And
then if you have the time, then it's also good to recite Om Mani Padme Hum. And there's probably no one who doesn't or has not heard of the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra by now, right?
And Mani Chugi Nimbo, Taiwan Shamde is like this. Mani Chugi Nimbores, Tabin Shamdes, Tawa, Kusho,
Oh, did it?
Nobody Shamdes,
Shamdes.
Shamdes.
Shamdes, don't
Don't you recite is the Shamden. Shamden much say you.
They have going.
Then like this stage lato.
Money then money don't
Mani the Chugi Nimbores.
Chicken in Buddhas.
In a Tabin Dobaina,
In a Geshe Dao get them by
Shamdes.
Okay, so Geshe just said like a proverb. He said, the Om Mani Padme Hum, the Mani mantra, is like the essence of dharma. But if a monk were to recite it, it would be like, like he just, how do you say? He just embarrassed himself, or he just humiliated himself or something like that. I'm not sure why. Right. So in Tibetan sayings, they would just say that. I'm not exactly sure why.
Yeah. Okay,
so the reason is that because Om Mani Padme Hum is very simple, it's like everyone knows that, right? It's very easy. Whereas for monk scholars, they're supposed to know much more sophisticated, philosophical debates and so forth, or like if it's a mantra, then very complicated ones, right? So if a monk is, only reciting Mani, then it's kind of like he should shame, or how do you say? Embarrassed, shame, because it's like Mani is something that even a little kid, a little baby would be able to recite. So that, I guess that's the meaning of that. And then you guys all know the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, right? There probably isn't anyone here who hasn't heard or knows. So both of our common teacher, there's a very famous, very learned Rinpoche, Urgyen Rinpoche. He was actually the abbot who granted both Geshe-la and me different times the novice vows, our ordination vows. And so then when various people would go to ask for blessings from Urgyen Rinpoche, he would say Om Mani Padme Hum. He would recite the Mani mantra, and then he would like blow on them as blessing, right? And then his attendants, other monks nearby, would kind of like whisper, like these are when the lay people would go for blessings, right? He would do this, and then the monks standing by would kind of like in secret, kind of like whisper to Rinpoche and say, Rinpoche, do you have any other mantra to recite? And then Rinpoche would scold them, very wrathfully and saying, you be quiet, you're showing your own ignorance and don't know anything about the power of the Mani mantra. And then also in Bodhgaya, when His Holiness gave the teachings, he gave obligatory empowerment, and he also emphasized the importance of reciting and accumulating the Mani mantra. And he said among all the different mantras that he himself has accumulated the most of Mani mantra.
Okay. And 다 오만 빼면 어디다 바바 시리즈까지 고속도 중국으로 자르고 나서 라기로 바바 시리즈 고속도 중국으로 등을 자르고 나서
Settle mass.
말을 준비하고 나서
And also when you're Also, when you're reciting the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, then you should also think, then, may I achieve all the qualities of body, speech, and mind of Avalokiteshvara.
다티 많은 것이 잠고지 그냥 많이 되나라야 아니 아까로 탑다 혈압이 냐면 당겨서 답신이게.
So without going into an extensive explanation, the meaning of the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, in short, within that mantra, you have both the accumulation by reciting it and meditating on it. You have the accumulation both method and wisdom aspects. And if we accumulate both, complete the collection of both method and wisdom, then that's how we achieve enlightenment.
Okay.
Okay.
It's too short.
Was that too short?
Okay, like that. Now we have questions, okay? I really have some questions.
So, I've heard some of the Rinpoche say that even if you don't have the spontaneous realization of bodhicitta, at least effortful bodhicitta. And he says, it's important to have feeling in the heart. So it's a two-part question. One is, how do you generate that feeling? And then also, I guess, maybe sort of, how do you know, when you're saying a word, you're at least trying to reflect, how do you know that, I guess, that you're doing it well enough, and it's enough effortful?
rinpoche chubadan chuba maimbe ane semke chanchugi sem di goro sungyure suna gisida ane chuba maimbe chanchugi sem susu gyula kya de lelabo yomares kabu yurete ane nyungta dene susu di chuba de kena yapu ke gogoresa na jisungsungsa ine anda susu gida 당보 이게시 ngaso di semke de 식제대 돈도 삼바야 디 돈다 장어던 삼바 응원에디 쭈마 임베체 임민 다 간대하고 레베스 안에 데마제 안에다 디 소화라 질레고 말레베스 근데 소화된다 지 응원에디 쭈마기 디 소화라 지 레고라스 근데 소화기야라 다 간대스 상당고 그랬어
다 가르나 주마만 봐서도 보세 아니 주마 많이 봐서나 깔리자 먹어지니 모두 레라고 용어 텔 주마 많이 봐라 그래서 대가도 다다 레탕고서 깔리 가오셔야 돼서
So among the effort and effortless spontaneous types of bodhicitta, of course by the effortless or spontaneous it is when the mind generation, the awakening mind of bodhicitta is just effortless. It's so easy, it's spontaneous. It just takes to generate it is completely effortless. And of course, for beginners like ourselves, that is very difficult. It's not going to happen overnight like that.
다른 상적을 셈세다 간지는나 셈세 담적으로나 상적 공부 도보 쇼님에 되는 쌈스질라 상적 셈라고 그래서 동동로되나
And so in short, mind of bodhicitta, the awakening mind, is merely the thought, the wish that may all sentient beings achieve a state of enlightenment. That thought, mere thought itself is the mind of enlightenment or the awakening.
되는 쌈스다 소중히 쳇고 그래서 간지 되는 쌈스다 게 쳇고 그래서 이건도 쳐 되는 쌈스도 이건도 쳇고 그래서
이건도 줄
쳇고 그래서 대전하다 상적 셈 지마세 되고 다당가도 요대요 말까지 다 지마가 쳇는 걸로 봤어 되는도 쳇고 그래서
So just that mere thought that wishes for all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment, that kind of a thought has to precede the effort, the awakening generating between the bodhicitta with effort, generation of bodhicitta with effort, or the effortless generation of bodhicitta. So there are the two different types of bodhicitta that Lama Zopa Rinpoche mentioned. So the mind of bodhicitta be generated with effort, yeah? How would you say that? What's the terminology?
Manifest.
So before that,
배나 차서는 나도 총간으로 오는데나 야 나도 뒤에서 나 말신 요구도 오마신 요구도 때 많이 연대 그거 되게 제대로 왔어. 주마세대까지 깔리 잡는 땡은 좀.
나도 인지 탄이 된 바졌어. Anyway, so the effortless bodhicitta and the one that is made with effort. So before you can establish or generate the bodhicitta with effort in your own mind, it has to be preceded by that simple thought, may all sentient beings achieve enlightenment, right? So that is like a prerequisite or it needs to precede the mind of enlightenment or the bodhicitta with effort.
Bena ngazo tena songa rogo나. 아, 되는 말 요구고 조만 요구고 진 삼성 로지랑 제대로 봤어. 된다고 싶거든.
So for example, before you go to the store to buy things, you first in your mind have to recollect, oh, what do I need to buy? And you think, oh, I need to buy butter or milk or whatever before I go to the store, right? So it's kind of like that. First you have that thought, may all sentient, just the mere wish, the mere thought things, may all sentient beings achieve enlightenment. That kind of a mere thought or mere wish needs to precede the actual mind of generation, the actual mind generation of the bodhicitta with effort.
나 된리기 상식에서 개발을 땡겨라야 샴바 니지 라섬 니지 샴바를 맛이 든데 자동면도 그래서 샴바 니지 근데 맛이 든데 주로
So that kind of a mere wish that wishes for all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment, that in itself, that mere wish that in itself needs to be preceded by the sevenfold cause and result of generating love, compassion, and then recognizing all sentient beings as one's mothers, wishing to repay their kindness and so forth, right? The sevenfold cause and effect, I think they call it, of mind generation.
배차잖아. 가서 배나 평일에 무조건이 와지. 민이 와지. 직수수 아마이 바지. 직마이 바지. 수수 아마라 가서 강에 되는 가서 제가 소미스 레게도 왔어. 봐줘와도 소알레게도 아마레와는 제가 말았어. 그 아마레게 되거나 수수 엉에 아마레 나를 거리지 먹고 그냥 뭐보지야 푸시당이요. 되게 그랬어.
So for example, if you have two people in front of you and one is your own mother and one is not your own mother, maybe a stranger or maybe just a friend or acquaintance, if both of them were to be experiencing some kind of difficulty, you know, the kind of mind that would be generated towards your own mother, like wishing for a compassion towards your own mother, would be much stronger. Why? Because you have recognized that person as your mother for so long, and recognize that person, your mother, as having been kind to you and so forth for so long. You're so accustomed to that automatically when your mother is experiencing difficulty, the amount of compassion or the amount of feeling that might arise in relation to that will be much stronger than, say, someone else, right? A stranger or someone else other than your own mother.
Okay, then 상식에서 제가 땡을라 맛이 텐테 주소 용어셔봐. 이제 전부터 자동면 놓고 그랬어.
And so even before that mere wish or thought that wants all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment, that it itself needs to be preceded by the sevenfold, thought generation of recognizing all sentient beings as one's mother, recognizing their kindness, wishing them to be free to have happiness, to be free from suffering, of thinking that I myself must be the ones to bring them to that state, and then realizing that in order to do that, I myself need to achieve enlightenment, right? So that whole process needs to take place as a precedent to, prerequisite to generating that mere thought, simple thought.
tunsuya bicha당이면나 자로마 비자당이면나 부시청이면나 아니 가서 샘체도 사지 고마도 가서 좋아하려고 말했어.
So if that if when we're reciting may all sentient beings achieve enlightenment, may I achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all things, if it's not backed by all those previous thoughts of sevenfold cause and effect and the wish for all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment and so forth, then there won't be much feeling. There won't be much actual taste to what you're thinking.
Okay? Then? Yes?
If you didn't have, like, what if you just woke up and then you did the offers of prostration and you took refuge, but then you had to take care of some responsibilities, and then when you did that, you could come back and do recitations and prayer and meditation. Is it okay to break up the session? It's okay. So as he's mentioned before,
whatever your practice is, you shouldn't do it in a state of anxiety or stress or worry. You can do it however is convenient for you within your life. And so that's why he says, usually it's said, do as best that you can, as much as you can, but don't commit too much. You know, like for example, when you receive an empowerment or a certain teaching, you might be required to take some commitments, right? So at that time, you know, don't commit yourself to too much at the very beginning. For example, if you were to receive Avalokiteshvara empowerment, and then there's a commitment, they might say, okay, make your own commitment as to how many malas, rosaries of Om Mani Padme Hum you want to recite. Don't go and say, oh, I'm going to recite 100 malas every day, you know, don't commit too much, is what Geshe-la said.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Is there, I was wondering, is there an end to the limit of number of sentient beings?
To the number of sentient beings.
Is there a limit to how many sentient beings exist?
The sentient beings.
Kansa Gyume de Changka de la de Ta Yore Bes.
삼제 자가는 다 요래서네. 나하고 메스.
He said he doesn't know.
바제 요 말만 알아서 미치고 수본으로 삼제 가서 여기 잠깐 다 요래서 미치고 수본.
So he said, for example, in one person or one sentient being's continuum, right, of lives, like the continuum.
말만 맞아 수본 나라. Yeah, how many gyms?
Okay, so he's saying, even with our own bodies, you know, is there a limit or is there a number that we can put on the number of different beings that live within our own bodies, like different germs, different bugs, different types of living beings that reside in our own bodies?
And that's 삼제 담자 사지위 대용한테 라고 그랬어. 삼제 사마 사지위 대대지 요래서 라고 그랬어. The one time all sentient beings can be Buddha. And that's 삼제 거 잠깐 요지로 왔어. 삼제.
네, 디던 데는 가서 주분은 유배 센춘한테 대화하는.
뭐 대든 대화에 말해. 나 신당 삼제 망보였어. 망보.
So so Geshe-la was saying that when we say may all sentient beings become enlightened,
yeah.
Right? So that's wishing for all sentient beings. All word there is referring to very, very many, a huge number. As for putting an infinite number to that, actual number to that, Geshe-la doesn't know.
It says like limitless are the number of sentient beings. Literally limitless, meaning there's an infinite number.
So I mean, it's
like there's no way that you could put a number to it. That is that many, right?
I was going to ask the following that.
So for example, within I guess the Western religion, the
Scientific terminology, is there a limit to the number of numbers? I mean, no, right? Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that, okay? Any other questions? Yes.
So, could you elaborate on the practice of walking around the stupa and what are we supposed to be doing?
circumambulation.
And more than that,
So they're asking you to practice the circumambulation.
Some problem with meditation and walking around. I thought they were 남비기 추나가다 켈렌다라야 넬라야 아니 이 고란도도 잡아나 소소고 소는 무슨 뭐 사그레스 양셰다 진도 배는 주되는 거는 쇼시 자상은 제와 인자 안에 소는 무슨 사그레스 이런 데 작도스 쇼 자상
근데 소소에 단단한 양 디파 샤야
근데 소는 무슨 사나 디파 타로 그러고서 그 디파 다 디파 세로 디파 세는 소는 무슨 사용 그러고서 간지 쇼시네 디파 타로 우리 이제 소는 무슨 사그레스 도지나
So, you know, in the actions, there are three different kinds of actions of body, speech, and mind. So when we circumambulate holy objects like that, it's not just because they have mental problems, it's actually
I'm joking.
It's because we are targeting specifically actions that have been created with the body, the physical actions that need to be purified. On the one hand, purification of the physical actions created bodily, and on the other hand, also in terms of accumulating merit, we can also accumulate merit through the three doors of body, speech, and mind. So also we can also accumulate a lot of merit in relation to circumambulating around holy objects. And then also around the stupa, there are four different sides. Right, 4 different phases or sizes to stop a stupa, for example. So as you're circumambulating, then you also are able to 다 잘기 다 인지선에 가려고 그래.
You can see.
But it's not just seeing though. So there's this term in Tibetan, it's an honorific term called jal, right? So when you go to for example, have an audience with a lama, you don't just use the word, you go to see a lama, you use the word jal, so right? So in this context, so it's kind of an honorific form for meeting or greeting or seeing, yeah? So when you circumambulate a holy object, then you are able to see or greet, to pay respect or whatever, I guess the appropriate term might be, from many different sides. For example, in terms of this stupa, the 4 different directions, 4 different faces or sides.
안테 그런 거 돼. 바 고조 배워도 그러자가 도와서 고조 대회 다니는 거네. 고소 두때 빼만 뭐에 사전에 실업체 뭐이 들자면서 고는 로고 열어서 그다 들어는 시다 개와요네 된다고 말해서.
So for example, when the Tibetans that you see circumambulating the old folks, they really carry the motivation that within this area you have that there's so many holy objects, meritorious objects, in relation to whom I can create a lot of merit and also purify non-negativities. And so keeping that in mind, then they will do this circumambulation respectfully, right, within that mental frame. If you were to, without any thoughts whatsoever, in a neutral state of mind, or even like non-attentively circumambulate this area, then there might be some benefit to that, but not in the same way as someone who is doing it attentively with that specific motivation and awareness of the objects around which they're circumambulating.
Okay. 다 그런 나도 다 개와이도 그런 매와이나 됐다가도 excellently 그러자면 개와식 주무요래서.
So if you have motivation and you do circumambulation around holy object, of course there's merit. But even if by accident, without any kind of motivation or awareness, you happen to circumambulate around the holy object, there is still merit in that.
냐마 나도 가로 경고선에 들어가지는데.
다 닝된
민다 가서 다 지어서 가지. 냐마다 미치야 경고차 안에 남이게 바삐 로바치는 맨에 다고 경고차네 가서 고 산지다 안에 고랍시오 말이지. 다 먹고 샤리부터 그래지. 샤리부 초 경고 딱 고초가 맞아 들어가지는 되게 맞다 그래지. 대진이 다 고스미 다 고시고 삼들을 하시죠. 산지게 전에 산지다 이제 말이지. 산지보다 저런 안에 잡아지 조거래 저런이야. 그래서 누스라 그래서 그래서 가나 고게마 띄워가면 뭐이다 참들 들으시라 들은 맛이죠.
Okay, so Geshe was saying that to illustrate that point, that even without any specific motivation, being aware of anything, that if you by accident happen to circumambulate around a stupa, that there is merit in that. To illustrate that point, there is the story of an old man, right, who was kicked out by his own family because he was just old, and I guess they found him useless and decrepit and whatever not. And so then he decided he really wanted to join the ordained and so become a monk. And he knocked on the door of the monastery and was greeted by Shariputra, who had the clairvoyance to be able to see up to 500 lifetimes before and after. So within the 500 lifetimes of this old man, there was not a single merit which could allow him to become ordained as a monk. And so Shariputra said, I'm sorry, but you don't have the merit to be able to become ordained in this lifetime, and refused to let him in. And then the old man thought, lost hope, became very in despair, thought to commit suicide, thought, I have nowhere to go, I have nothing to live for. And as he was in that state of despair, then with his omniscience, the Buddha saw that what this old man was about to do. So he appeared in front of the old man and said, actually, wait, you do have some merit that would allow you to become ordained. And that is before, even way long time ago, beyond the 500 lifespan that Shariputra himself could see, that when this old man was born as a fly, he happened to land on a hip of cow dung, I think it was, that had been washed away by rain and circumambulated around the stupa, right? And by that merit that he had created, and by that single accidental merit that he had created, which had been accumulating since that time, he now had the enough merit for the basis on which he could become ordained as a monk. And so
아니 나도 배회를 로설이야 변에 제가 따로 발전도스. 초된다고 지라야 꼬라. 변에 dak고 똥고고는 튀고고는 것도 제일이지. 근데 발전 세는 거는 되는 뭐였어.
So even in Tibet, in the Tibetan tradition, if one were to be experiencing difficulties of obstacles and so forth, then one is often given the advice to circumambulate numbers like 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times around stupas or around a holy specific object and so forth. So
Okay.
there's that tradition.
Can I ask one other? And the prayer wheel, so you do both, right?
So inside the prayer wheels, it's not empty, right?
It's actually stuffed with mantras. And so with the number of mantras, how many number of mantras that is inside that prayer wheel, you can think that each time that you spin it, that you're saying the equivalent in number of the number of mantras that is inside that prayer wheel that is just going around. So yeah, in terms of purification of negativities and so forth in relation to that. And also in the holy images that we have on the altar here of the various statues and so forth and stupas, actually those are all stuffed with the holy mantras and mantras that are in relation to, for example, the crown, the throat, the body, the throne, the seat. So those are all stuffed with, filled with holy mantras. So like for example, when these holy images and statues are filled, first we prepare them nicely, and then put incense with them and wrap them in cloth inside and so forth, and then fill them in with these various mantras for the different places that represent different the holy body, speech and mind of the Buddhas and so forth, fill them nicely, and then also then they are consecrated by with special prayers and pujas and so forth too.
단다 지제 가시가 나 신경에서 소소 송을로군다 대루초 말때 진짜 느려 말했어 지제 가시 왜 some veterans
소속이
야 소소 군요 텔레야 송요 발로 제가 진짜 느려 말했어.
So like for example, some Westerners will, when they buy a statue, they will themselves get some of these mantras and fill it inside the statue and then think that they've consecrated it, but actually it's not actually allowed. It's kind of prohibited to be able to treat things that lightly, I guess. And so in order to consecrate and to fill statues like that, one needs to also have had instructions and empowerments and so forth, the lineage of that, to have had some retreat or meditation practice, achieved some meditation practices in relation to that, and then achieve those qualifications in order to be able to fill and consecrate holy images.
Okay? And
so it's not necessarily that you are like breaking a law or something like that, but that maybe by doing that without the proper qualifications and prerequisites, having fulfilled the prerequisites, you might not be able to bring the proper blessings to that holy image to be a qualified holy image, so to speak, right? Yeah, so when a holy statue or image is being filled, there are specific texts, specific mantras and so forth that are associated that needs to be placed at a specific spot. And so without knowledge of what needs to go where and obtaining all the proper ones and so forth, just to do that. And also our statue in the back, one of the reasons why it's so precious is that Geshe Tsulga, who was with us at the time, made sure that whatever needed to be done, that it was done exactly in accordance with the definition of how a statue should be consecrated, should be filled, and so forth. So everything, it meets all the prerequisites. So for example, when you purchase a new product or have a new technological device, and you're going to be consulting the manuals and looking it up online to see how it should, how you need to operate that or whatever. So in that same way, you also need to.
Yeah, 대차는 고르서 이나 나도 빼졌다기 때문에 빼졌다는 걸로 섬자들어. 그래서 나도 잡아서 세미나를 놓고 왔어. 빼졌다기 놓고 말서 거기서 사물로 섬자들어.
But whereas if you need to assemble some new product, you might need to look at the text, look at the manual, and then do it at the same time. But in this case, like the monks who are who are qualified to consecrate images and fill them and so forth, they won't need to look at the text because they already have it memorized. You know, it's like they've already achieved that level of qualification. So, for example, if you ever seen monks filling a statue or consecrating them, you won't see them with a manual next to them. You know, they'll be reciting mantras, reciting prayers, and they know exactly what to put where and so forth. Yeah?
Like that, okay? It's okay?
Very good, very interesting.
Any other questions?
Okay. You spoke earlier about Avalokiteshvara being the embodiment of the compassion of all Buddhas. So sometimes they give the explanation where Buddhas represent the embodiment of certain qualities, and other times they hear the explanation is that they're an individual being, like there is the story of how Avalokiteshvara came to have 11 heads and 1,000 arms, and it's a story of an individual being, what he did. So I kind of could get, how should we think about those? I mean, is it right to think of those as both being two ways of thinking about it? 간지 다 샘질에 고 뒤다 나박은 쳔베고네 다 샘질에 고 가리고네 뒤다 안에 산지대 주고네 다 수도 안에 지니지가 라시도 많이 용거 간지 대자라 구비 온거 가리고네 대지 대단 참 많이 용거 그래서 단단로이나 그나 자름 보신 것도 바바시래 고도 주트와이라 그래 나도 나지지네 나야 요와 차야 요와 지네 용거 그래서.
So Geshe-la was saying that in short, it's not necessary, or it's, the two different ways of thinking about Avalokiteshvara are not contradictory. That it is that you have one person who became a fully enlightened Buddha, and that his path of becoming that Buddha was out of his extraordinary compassion for all sentient beings, right? Someone who went through all the usual life story or the different things that we know about Arya Avalokiteshvara, right? But that Avalokiteshvara is actually also the embodiment or of taking a form, the Buddha's, all the compassion of, the enlightened compassion of all the Buddhas represented by a physical form being that Avalokiteshvara as well. That the two are not the two views are not contradictory.
Okay. And
for example, we believe that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is
the image of the Avalokiteshvara.
Sorry, thank you. I'm losing my English. From India. So I'm refreshing my English here. That he's an emanation of Arya Avalokiteshvara himself, right?
And
and also then, some people will say, well, but His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he gets sick and he catches the flu, the cold, and then but then, Chenrezig or Avalokiteshvara is a Buddha, so, it's supposed to be free from all suffering, free from aging and sickness and so forth. So how is that, That if His Holiness the Dalai Lama were not to show this ordinary aspect, some of a human being, or an ordinary human being that we can relate to, then he wouldn't be able to bring as much benefit to our minds directly.
Okay, what I tell you now, he needed the commander, that is the same coach, to the machine, young, not to she needed the commander, she needed.
So if, of course, this line of discussion is actually leading towards proper reliance on the spiritual teacher, so it's kind of going off to the side here, but yeah.
Okay, then Tatana Chano Chica Kada gon try Tanshas, Kada. The Bob, are you the person to ask the
question about
how you
kata?
offer the Kada?
How to offer a kata?
Who
There were two parts.
Who did?
One was more kind of question about how to offer the kata.
Okay,
And then we had the discussion about the quality of the kata.
okay. Who the quality Kada?
Oh, the quality.
I remember somebody saying that at the monastery, the monks like to get the older katas because they have more blessings in them to offer those.
So he says sometimes you see people carrying like katas that are so dirty, they look like, used handkerchiefs, but he said that is absolutely wrong. That you should and some people might, bring a kata that they've carried in their back pockets for like a month or something. It's all wrinkled up, and then they bring it out and they make an offering like that. And that actually would be a cause to the declining of your merit rather than increasing your merit.
아니 다 상계도 샤주 선바치 소소 라마를 비야 가다데 가서 짱짱 가서 리리 표이나 손좀 소마서 그랬어.
And so then a kata that one would make offering to holy images, to one's teachers and lamas and so forth, it should be however so as new, as clean, and as long as possible, that by that much you'd also be gaining that much merit. So in short, it should be the best that you can offer in terms of cleanliness, or in terms of newness, in terms of quality or length and so forth. Yeah.
다 된데 말안 해도 다 소소 다 지나면서도 야다는 다 가서 님만냐는 되겠어. 로 돌아지냐는 되겠어.
So if you were to, think of it as okay that you just receive blessing from it, and then you hold on to it for as long as you want. It can be as old as you want it to be, as long as you want to hold on to it.
아니 드네다 반제까지 라마다 라도 저야 피에디 가다 자마 사바비나 소리 야가요네 메토나 메토 자마 메토 뇽도도 니주르 야고만 도와서.
And then so if once you've made an offering and then it's been blessed, if you want to hold on to that, it can be as long as you want, it can be as old as you want it to be, but those that you offer to the objects of offering, those should be as new, as clean, the best that you can offer. And for example, like flowers, when you offer someone flowers, you want it to be fresh and new. You don't want to have like dried out roses that you received from someone like 20 years ago, so like that.
Okay, that's clear. Okay. Then yes.
So it would be a new one, because I think I heard one say, oh no, this is a special one you keep for the teacher, and you get issues.
So the who we refer to as the box again is like the old generation of monks. They used to really have this consider every object, like blessed object, very precious. And so then, the kata that they offer to their root teachers, or like His Holiness, they really, really treasure and be aware of that. Nowadays, the younger generation, they're not as conscious, or they don't think of it in the same way. And so, in the old days, once you've offered a kata to His Holiness, for example, Khensur, then you really treasure that and then keep it separately, or be aware, mindful that kata had been made, had been offered and blessed by His Holiness. Yeah. But the diwa denen de tinda de kata de tenchi tenkaji de priade and it gesi sangma sangyang da ji shabaina de yangjang je puna digi de. Okay, so in answer to your question, if such a kata you find, that it's been blessed by such and such teacher, such and such person, and that you find very kind of precious, as long as it's kept clean and presentable, as long as it's nice, it's okay to offer again and again. Right.
And sometimes 미모모 요살이야 소술라마나 가다 튼데비 민데서 가다 도 아이케도서 콘도 되바사 그랬어요. 델랭도 왔어. 도종한도 도나 제거 안 됐어.
다 수기 되바사게 돼.
나 미셔바수 저랑가 가다 때니. 아니 저랑가 가다 배다니 밑에 아케 가다 야물 김들라나 콘도 되바사 그랬어. 대체랑가 지지 그랬어.
For example, if you were to bring a really, really old, kind of very short, that kind of a not such a good kata to make an offering, and other people saw that, and then they were to automatically think, oh, that's a dirty, or that's not a good offering, or that's a bad kata, or they were to create create negative thought in their mind, or create negativity in relation to seeing the kata that you're offering, then you could also be kind of inadvertently a condition for them to create negative karma in their minds in relation to that. Yeah.
Okay? Yes?
The color white,
가는 중앙 그리고 시제 왕라도 좀 시야요스 나도 반대네. 시와데 제바왕 타보스 데레시 시야요스. 근데 문에 벽 탐험하면 가다잖아 가오까지는 인사했어.
So usually in general it's the white katas that are offered. Now when you see the 5 different colors of katas, that's kind of in relation to, like, for example, the different types of empowerments, levels of empowerment. Sometimes it's related to that. But the usual color of katas that are offered would be white or yellow, right?
Yeah.
So before, in the old days, it was always white. Nowadays, you also see yellow being offered as commonly as well.
아니 양가세 마장세야 되게 가서 중화 40million 중화 때 남강가 어떤 때면 대용으로.
And also the 5 different colors of katas can also be associated with the 4 elements of plus the space element, the blue being the space element, right? So the 4 of water and earth and fire and wind.
남강.
And then space. So water being, in this case, white actually, earth being yellow, red being fire, and then green being wind, and then space being blue. So sometimes these 5 colors and the katas are associated. And for example, the prayer flags, you see different colors, those 5 different colors, those would be in relation to the 5 elements like that.
나도 실록은 좋아하게 야보 전화 나도 나긴 좋아가 야보요. 나긴 좋아하면 나도 야밀라세 나사 모양 왔다 받지마 변결해서.
And also when the physical or external 5 elements of the aforementioned 5 elements are in harmony, are in harmonious together in good condition, then also that can lead to the internal 5 elements within our bodies to become harmonious and therefore lead to good health and longevity and so forth.
Okay? 가다가도 가다가를 다시
And so in any case, in all the katas, you'll see the 8 auspicious symbols, and also in Tibetan it says tashidele, the auspicious greeting. And so in short, it's to symbolize auspiciousness. And also symbolization of one's own mind being as pure, as good as possible. So one should, when makes the offering, make sure that one has a good state of, like, a kind-hearted mind or good motivation.
Okay? Yes?
In a lot of practices, and it was mentioned in the teaching today as well, they talk about seeing your guru as inseparable from Shenrezik or Bodhisattva or Shakti Buddha. And I'm wondering, because right now, when I try to think about that, in my mind I do practice, for example, maybe make sense of water walking practice, and you realize over objects as being inseparable from your guru. So in my head, I'm either superimposing or trying to see what's connected, or manifestations or animations. I'm just wondering how to think about this at a sutra level without having a realization of emptiness.
소소고 조진하고 공제다 이유래서 지라는 소소고 라마데 대 차상기 그럼 삼로 말씀다 그래서 내가 근데 노벨로 살아 그래서 내가 소소 라마데 조지 소소 라마데 다 산지도 자주 삼아 선자마 가게 근삼로 인사 그래서 지금이 삼다 거 말했어 다 대마에는 아니 다지 라마 산지 샤자 바원가노가도 라마 집에 소지요 되는지 something 그랬어
So, Geshe-la, I'm not sure if he understood exactly your question, but what he just said was that, for example, there are two different ways of visualizing or imagining the mirror field, right? One is where you imagine just one being, your root guru, and then think that your root guru that you visualized is actually the representative of all the Buddhas and all the holy beings and so forth, gurus, idams, three jewels, so forth. Everyone in the mirror field, that your guru is the representation or is the essence of all of them combined into that one physical form. That's one way of visualizing a mirror field. And the other way would be to do the extensive version of, visualizing each and every kind of component of a mirror field. Yeah.
당기 남주 도대오리 실랑이 올세. 배초도 단델 샴베yon 델란 제선 샴베yon 델라 좀 땅도 고병원에 자고 오면 되었어. 델레 소준 조업 회장 되더라야. 아니 소주 짜외라면 처음에 산지도 샤셔서 뭐 차사요 삼샤 코네요 모두 말씀하지 차사요 삼샤는 되게 그랬어. 나한테 도대오 동도 들어와. 도대오 답대오로.
Okay, so then the kind of a easy, efficient way of thinking about it might be when you imagine or when you have, like for example, your own altar with your holy images, that to think that they're all there and that your teacher is the representation of all of them, and they're all there, but without necessarily having to imagine or think that this person is in that corner and that person is above this Buddha, without necessarily going into all these details, that you can just say they're all there exactly as they should be, right? And then to focus on then the Sawe Lama. So that would be like the kind of the easy, efficient way of imagining, visualizing the mirror field is to focus on your root teacher as the center, as the main focal image, but then to think that everyone else is, all the other holy beings of the mirror field are there as they should be.
Okay, this is much easiest way. Otherwise, if we try to this, if you come here, already forgot after that. Okay? Yes?
So when we think the Buddhas are inseparable, and is it correct to think that they may be individual beings, but they all have the qualities of enlightenment, and they can all manifest to help us in the same, in whatever way is necessary?
What do you mean all Buddhas are inseparable?
Well, we think of our root guru as inseparable from all the Buddhas. Is that thinking that all the Buddhas have the same qualities of enlightenment? They all have the qualities of enlightenment, and they can all manifest for us in whatever way is necessary.
So I see two different components to that question. One is, what is the meaning of our gurus being inseparable from all Buddhas? And is it possible the meaning of that is that because all Buddhas will manifest to help us in whatever way, we say that whoever helps us or guides us as gurus are inseparable from all Buddhas? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And that dual chokni yore 당보는 아니 가서 사이라마 되기 아니 산제 탄치당 예메바 오 예메바라 줄라야디 디 던다칸데인 아니 콩라다나 게시티 세바세바이나 아니 다 게시다 산제 탄치사 수의 산제 강의바데 아니 다 공소 사회당 세와당 인제권에 가서 강투투 가지 고바이나 아니 가서 차로나야 제도 아니 가서 둔든 나와 예바 인비 톤데 아니 가서 사이 라마데 가서 아니 차로나긴 된소 아니 다 산제 탄치 당고 예메바라지 던다리 베스 칸데 인비레 So he said probably like we said probably like in the sense that because all Buddhas will manifest, that they out of their compassion and love and wisdom will manifest in whatever is necessary to benefit sentient beings, and that at the present moment it's our teachers who are doing that acting performing the activities of benefiting sentient beings in that way.
디고에서 주마가도 빠진데 주마대 신이도 고파시고요.
La.
디 주마 살아봐 빠지 신이도 고래.
Okay, so I think probably the following session on Wednesday would be on the reliance on teachers. Is that the next subject? Yeah, on Guru devotion. So probably this subject will be further explored at the next session. So he will speak about it more in detail at that time.
Okay. Any other questions? Any debates? Yes.
Question. Yeah. When he was talking about all the Buddhas are inseparable.
He said, well, we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, he said anything in relation,
any other further questions or anything in relation to Bob's question, he said let's bring it to the next session because there'll be more to the next Wednesday because there'll be more time to explore. Yeah.
Okay.
Michael, did you?
Quick question.
Earlier, beginning was the German Bodhicitta, that we have to benefit all sentient beings. And then there was something about 7 vows.
the 7 causes and the 7-fold causes.
Yeah, what's
results? So Geshe said that the 7-fold cause and result. So first, the steps are like this.
That first is that you need to generate equanimity towards all sentient beings, like equalize the whole field of sentient beings. That there's no, closeness towards one and distance from others. Everyone create equanimity towards all. And then the second is then recognizing all sentient, in that state of equanimity, recognizing all sentient beings as having been one's mother, and then remembering their kindness. And then once you remember their kindness, then the thought to repay that kindness. And then brought by that, then the wish for all sentient beings to have happiness, which is love, right? So all-encompassing love, right? Wishing love for all sentient beings, and then realizing that they don't have happiness because they're unhappy, because they have suffering. Therefore, that leads to wishing all sentient beings free from suffering, which is compassion, right? And then from that, then you generate. Then you create the special thought, which means that then you realize who can actually free them, cause them to achieve the happiness they want, and free them from the suffering they don't want. It's like I myself, it's not sufficient that I rely on someone else or the other Buddhas to do that. I myself have to take the responsibility of leading them to that state. So that is a special thought, the 7th. And so then in order to generate up to that level of mental generation, there are 2 different ways, yeah? One is by exchanging self with other, and the other is by generating the 7-fold step that Geshe-la just recited. 근데 단연 신이 단데 젠 소담 젠체 직도 두가 인삼죠.
말 되니 가지. 마시 텐텐 주소 용어샴바 이제 전부 말어. 라섬 남다 두바로 아니 샤지 무슨 또 맞죠.
So then if you were to, there are two different ways. And one way is, as Geshe-la said, of the seventh thought to be generated being that special altruistic thought that says, I myself will take on the responsibility of leading world beings to the state of freedom from suffering and attaining the happiness, right? Another way of kind of counting this would be if you were to take as basis equanimity. You already established that. And then the first step, first generation of mental thought to be generated on that basis would be then recognizing all sentient beings as having been one's own mother. And then recognizing their kindness. Secondly, third, then wishing to repay that kindness. And then fourth being love, wishing all of them to have the happiness they wish. Fifth being wishing all beings to be free from suffering. Sixth being the special altruistic thought that says, I myself must free them from suffering and lead them to happiness. And then the seventh, the final result being, in order to do that, I myself must achieve enlightenment and become a Buddha, because it's only a fully enlightened Buddha who has the actual power and knowledge and so forth, qualities to be able to bring that about. So there are two different ways of kind of thinking about it, but its end result is the same. And then and the 탑신이 열에서 찍는다는데
지들이야 마시 텐트 주소 요거셔봐 신도 된도 아니 되는 다시 냠지선 오르스다 아니 현지 동아 랑글레바 아니 소소고 대와 신나다는 뜻이네 샤집서 된도 오르스.
So then in the case of the method of generating the altruistic thought based on exchanging self with others, you would go through the steps of first establishing equanimity, recognizing all sentient beings as having been one's own mother, and then remembering their kindness, wishing to repay their kindness, and at that point, then you could do the meditation on exchanging self with others, taking on their suffering, thinking that we're sane in wanting freedom from suffering and wanting happiness and so forth. That meditational practice.
아니 니제당 라삼니 바르준다고 말했어. 대된들 바라샤네 다전이고는 단 좀성네 로를.
And so then from that point, then it wouldn't be necessary to necessarily go through in a chronological order meditations on love and compassion. From that point, you can go directly into meditation on exchanging self with other. And usually that's considered a more powerful way of generating bodhicitta, method for generating bodhicitta within one's mind.
Okay. Any other questions? I think that will stop. Okay. How you are with the kata? Bring the kata here. Kata de ya pidanga shidang dhamma mumbo yorwa.
And so there are many different ways of offering a kata.
The read was okay. Do this was not do shad was. The read was there. Chani was. Would you do speak of yours? Do you mean kata tata ya? The Lama Zopa tata pa.
So see how their kata is folded in half, and so then there are two different sides, one that has the opening and one that is closed, right? So if you were to offer to your to the objects of refuge, to your teachers and so forth, with the opening, then it's like it's a gesture symbolizes making an offering towards them. If you were to have that reversed so that the opening is towards you, then you can think of it as blessing being given back to you.
나는 누스친 피샤야 너기로 와서 네 가다야고도 와서 가시 가다 뭐저
So he said, for example, this is a very nice kata, clean and and so forth. Some will sometimes bring a kata that is all crumpled up and that's wrinkled and.
근데 가시도 가다세 들어가지 최소로 최 가다세는 지 아주 최 대가로 알아নো 가다 땅고 돼 최소로 It's not voluntary, like someone force you.
I think he just said it. So no, he said like offering a kata is it's not like it's like a tax where you have to be forced to do it. It's like it's voluntary. So And so then you should do with a glad mind the best that you can, not like you're being forced to do something. So if you were to like crumple the kata up, put it in your back pocket, and have it sitting there for a long time, next time you make an offering with that, then it's not very good, is it? And you know, these days you can find rather easily nice long katas, right? Some will bring something that is really, really short, you know.
But it should never touch the ground.
That doesn't really matter whether or not it touches the ground.
Okay. And
then when it's returned back to you, then you should think of it as that it's been blessed, that it's the form of blessing, and you know, be aware of that, not just as something to hang around your neck. So for example, like the old generation of monks, for example, Geshe Tsulga, you know, he used to be so devout and so respectful towards his teachers, that even upon hearing the name being mentioned of one of his root teacher, he would automatically raise his hand in a show of respect and refuge. But nowadays people are kind of more, you know, not as respectful, not as cognizant of that. So, you know, from the side of the teacher, it doesn't matter whether one is really respectful or you know, or not, but from the side of the student, it makes a difference to one's. And so Geshe-la is not saying this just to say that you guys should be, you know, paying that much respect to Geshe-la all the time. But he will discuss this more in detail next time. But you know, our teachers, they're really like they're really like the root of all virtues, of all good qualities for us, right? As foundational good qualities, the first line in the foundational good qualities composer Lama Zopa says, they're like, you know, the most important. They're really like, there's a phrase in Tibetan that says Yona Mena, like, which means
you're the only.
Like, yeah, it's like indispensable, I guess is the word.
I heard also translated as nothing higher.
Yeah, it is nothing higher than that, but it's like you cannot do without, right? So I mean, it's indispensable. You cannot do without.
Okay, that's good. You got it. Okay, now just pray short prayer, okay? Shortest one.
All right, page, let's see.
Mandala.
Oh, page 39.
Very short mandala.
Rewrote in Gyume Bank.
Dedication.
Page 43. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion. To the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled.
Okay, now dedicate.
Okay, in that page 57. Through this virtue, may I swiftly gain Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that enlightened state. Precious Supreme Bodhi Mind, may where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Dream
for driving.